Hi, Kerry here. I was thinking back to when I retired and some of the decisions I had to make, and one of the first ones is, of course, your elections for Medicare, and then you also have to make your election relative to how you're going to take your Social Security. Are you going to take it at 62? Which would be considered early, or are you going to wait until 67? Back when I did it, full retirement was 65, or are you going to wait till 70? And so there are some questions you got to answer, and I think they're directed as much as by anything else, your other extensive circumstances. Do you need the money? What other kind of income are you going to have? And what is your life expectancy? And how much travel are you going to do? How healthy are you? These are all questions that you've got to answer and that will have a bearing on when you take that Social Security. And unlike Medicare, there's no redo. There's no coming back and say, whoops, I think I made a mistake, I want to change it. So it's important that you make the right decision. And as I say, again, the extenuating circumstances are really the decision makers. What do you need? What do you have to be good and comfortable through the rest of your retirement? And I think it's based on a lot of variables. So what I did was well, first of all, I should share with you, I took it immediately. I took it at 62. Nita's a year younger than me, so she kicked in the following year. She went in for 50% of mine, and we basically made that decision for two reasons. One, if we were going to spend it, we were going to spend it on travel. But in reality, we took it and said it's going to be part of our future investments, and we're going to use it to build wealth. So what I thought I could do to help you most effectively is create a visual of how to make the decision. And I don't like using whiteboards and putting numbers and all. I like to use spreadsheets. If you've been to my channel before, you'll see that I can develop an Excel spreadsheet for just about anything to help me make decisions. Because I think our decisions need to be based on not only what's going on right now, but how does this decision today affect my future? So what I want to do is take you to my office over here, and we'll sit down in front of my computer, and I'll share with you the spreadsheet that I made that I hope will help you make a better decision as to what is the opportune or the best time for you to take or to circumstances, whether you take it early, whether you take it regular, or you postpone it until you're in your 70s. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Let's look at this spreadsheet I created to answer the question, when should you take your Social Security? The government has a website that you can go to, and you basically plug in your birth date and your salary. They build it around as a default that you had your last salary was around $60,000. And in this first green box, you can see they show you what you're going to make if you take it at 62, 67, or 70. Then they basically base it on your anticipated life expectancy of 78. So if you take it at 62, your annual payment's going to be around $13,800. You'll take it for 16 years, and your benefits will amount to, over that 16 years, $22,144. If then you postpone it to 67, your annual benefits go up to $20,928, but you get it for 11 years, and your total take away from the government is $230,208. Then if you postpone it to 70, you get a annual benefit of $22,240 for 8 years, again based on your life expectancy of 78, and you get $217,920 $217,920. So if your objective is to get as much as you can and you actually live to their life expectancy, your best bet is to take it at 67. But what if you anticipate living longer and you say, I think my genes, my past history says my health, I'll live to 82. Well, you see the difference then. Number one, the number of years you take it, your annual benefit stays the same, but your total takeaway changes. And now, if again your big objective is just get the most out of it as possible, then your answer is wait till 70. And then I said, what if you had fabulous genes and you lived to 90? And again, the best answer, if your objective is to get as much out of the government as possible, is to take it at 70 and get about $544,000. Now, there's other variables and other questions that have to be answered. What if you have low or no other form of income? Well, then the answer is very simple. You need to be taking the money as early as you can because you don't have any other income. The choice is simple. The same is true if your primary breadwinner, that is the one who has the biggest portion of Social Security, is terminally ill or has bad health and is not going to live long. Again, you want to take it early. Other variable would be early retirement. You want to enjoy the money. You recognize that your ability to enjoy the money is going to diminish as you age. You're not going to be traveling as much. Well, then again, if that's what you want, then take it early and travel, take a lot of cruises, go on a lot of vacations, and enjoy yourself with it. Okay, that's pretty much takes that into consideration. What I then want to do is say, why don't we take it and say, we're going to invest this money, and we think we can invest it more efficiently than the federal government can. And I have basically said you're in the situation where you understand the stock market and you have a tolerance for it and you're going to take an interest in it and you think you can get a 10% return on your investment. And then what I did is go through and say, okay, based on the life expectancies, what is this money worth to you if you invest it? And again, I think you can see if you compare the 62 and 16 years, if you just take it from the government at 20, you'll get $222,144. But if you invest it and you get a 10% return, that $222,000 turns into $549,000. That's pretty cut and dry. And then just look at the same things. If you do it rather than till a life expectancy of 78, it's 82, or your life expectancy is 90. Heck, you take it early. You can invest it, and then at 10%, you've got $2 million. Then what I did over here in the blue boxes is use the same scenario, but say we had two people taking Social Security. We had the primary breadwinner, and then we had a non-working secondary spouse or significant other, and they got 50% of the primary. And again, you can see the best scenario is if I can take the money, turn around, invest it, get a 10% return, and if I live to 90, that government pension, if you will, is going to end up being worth roughly $2,500,000. Now, what if you say to me, well, that's a pretty ambitious amount of money, Kerry. What if I can only earn say 5% on it. Okay, whoops, that went to 50. I don't want that. You aren't going to get 50%. It should be 0.05. Okay, now we got a 5%. So we've got a pretty conservative portfolio here. We've got probably some stocks, some bonds, maybe even some CDs, and our stocks are probably dividend stocks. We can achieve a 5%. Again, look at our, if we take it and let the government just dole it out to us, and we just spend it, or we don't invest it aggressively, that 222,000 at 5% turns into 344. And with a spouse, it turns into 517,000. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you are prone to do investing, look at this as or your Social Security as a donation to your investment portfolio, and use it to make it grow. And as you can see, even at 5%, if it's you and a spouse who is getting 50% of your benefit, and you live to 90 years of age, and you wait and don't take it until 70, you've got $1,418,669. Again, that's if you don't have an immediate need for that Social Security. Use it as a way to build your wealth. Look upon it as, hey, if I can invest it, even at 5%, I can build wealth that I can pass on to my heirs much better than just taking it and leaving it in a CD or a checking account and letting it sit. So, all right, I hope that was helpful. And again, I just want to emphasize, you've got to make the decision, and I'm sorry, but there's no redo on it, based on what your current and future needs are. I think the big mistake most people make, and why I wanted to make this portfolio, was look at it as an investment opportunity. We as baby boomers were trained to do everything based on cash flow. The more money I got coming in, the more choices I have. And that's how we were raised. And thus, when we got more money coming in, we bought more stuff. We bought bigger stuff, bigger houses, bigger cars, whatever. And I don't think that's the way we should look at things, and that's what I'm hoping I can help younger people change their attitudes. And this is an opportunity relative to Social Security to look at it as a wealth building rather than a cash flow opportunity, particularly if you don't have an overwhelming need for it. If you can live off of your 401k and your IRA and your pension and maybe a side gig, then look at your Social Security as an investment opportunity to build wealth. Look at it as a gift from the government, and you can take it based on your longevity and say, okay, now this is going to be money that I invest and I grow. And it has some tax advantages to it, and I'm going to make the most of it so that maybe I can grow it for my heirs, or that I can grow it and have those extra things in my retirement that I wouldn't have had otherwise. Those things that when your grandchildren get in have an opportunity, whether it's a college education or it's a situation they find themselves in, that you as grandma and grandpa can step forward because you invested your Social Security checks wisely. You have built some wealth that you can benefit not only yourself, but your family. That's my objective over on Best of Us Investors, is to, number one, make good investment decisions. Understand the stock market, understand what our economy, understand what change is all about, and how you can find the companies that facilitate change. Number two, learn how to keep more of what you make. And that is, you understand the tax code, you understand the difference between qualified and non-qualified investments, you understand about getting a side gig and setting up an LLC, you understand 1035 exchanges in real estate. That's learning how to use your tax code to keep more of what you make. And then the third element is always to create family wealth. I don't think our parents recognize that there are ways to go and build family wealth. And the easiest way to do that are really two ways. One is the ownership of real estate is really stacked in the favor of the real estate owner through tax advantages. And if you can learn those tax codes and use them to your advantage, you can accumulate a lot of wealth. The other element is, through the stock market, you have the ability to take ownership in some of the best companies in the world. You are not a Jeff Bezos. You did not see the internet as a wonderful way to sell books and then everything else. You are not a Steve Jobs, and you did not, with Steve Wozniak, invent Apple and the Macintosh computer and create a company of that substance. You are not Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and you were two grad students at Stanford and you created Google. But you can take ownership in their companies and you can grow with them. This is something I don't think most people really recognize what investing is all about. It's taking ownership in the companies that are created by some of the smartest people in the world. You don't have to be the entrepreneur. You don't have to be the child genius. You don't have to be Bill Gates. You can invest in his company and reap the benefits of his knowledge, his experience, and his entrepreneurship, of all of them. So, you look at your Social Security, and if you don't need it, and you want to create family wealth, this is your opportunity to make a difference in the lives of those who follow you. And it's all part of this wonderful world you live in now called retirement. What I like to call the second half, the best half of my life. So that's how you should make your decision as to how to take your Social Security and when to take your Social Security and then what to do with it. That's what Best of Us in Retirement is all about. Whether you're 15 years old or you're 85 years old, you still have some good retirement decisions that you can make today.